Doncic, hesitation, corner, Brunson, he's got it! Jalen Brunson with a rainbow three! Dinwiddie left the spot. That ball may have gone to Dinwiddie.
Yeah, but they got away with that switch right there on Doncic.
Mitchell tries to feed it. Gobert puts it down. 7 to shoot. Dallas up by 1. Doncic trying to make it happen. Doncic drive, tough, off the rim. Jazz have an opportunity. 9 seconds left. Conley drives in. Conley nearly turned it over, and he did. And now they go for a steal, and then they have to foul. They get Brunson, 7/10 of a second, comes off the clock.
Single digits on the clock. Booker, three, good! A big-time tray by Booker.
They're used to moments like this.
11 for Booker, they double McCollum, pickpocketed, ripped away Bridges the other way. And then jackhammers it in, timeout New Orleans. Lead is 6, the biggest tonight for Phoenix, 7. They're on a 7-0 run. It's Nance, driving on Ayton. Whistle, count it, foul! Paul dancing, driving, shooting, scoring, Paul!
Chris Paul had himself an evening, folks. Chris Paul crushing it for the Phoenix Suns last night. Devin Booker played. This is interesting to see your daily sports podcast, news, narratives, takes, gambling. NBA playoff intros. We have plenty of time to do NFL draft. Maybe do that on Monday. 3 road teams closed out their series last night. Your Philadelphia 76ers were leading by 2 at halftime and ended up winning by a score of 132-97. For those of you counting at home, that is 30-5. They outscored. I'm trying to do some quick math. This is great. I'll bring it up on YouTube so you guys can help me. They outscored the Raptors 70. Hold on. 70-38 in the second half? What? Oh my God. So the Sixers scored as much in the third quarter as the Raptors did in the second half. Almost. Wow. That's not the only series that got closed out last night. The Phoenix Suns, electrifying performance from Chris Paul. They needed it. He's hot and cold in the playoffs. It's been a thing for him for a long time, but he had a lot of points last night, 33 points. Devin Booker came back from his injury. Looked okay. Didn't look great. Looks like he's still working back from his injury. The Suns advance. They survived. If they can weather this Booker thing, they might be okay. I forget who they play next round. We'll deal with it in a little bit. The other team that closed it out, if you heard it in there, Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks finally disposed with the Utah Jazz. Don't have to deal with this toxic team anymore. Conley for Utah traveled to turn the ball over with 5 seconds left. Dallas hit a free throw, and Utah missed the game-winning shot. Donovan Mitchell is going to demand a trade soon, I would imagine. That seems like something that is going to happen. I suspect very strongly that's going to happen, to say the least. Games coming up tonight. I think we have some more Game 6s. Like Google has Game 7 up for the Jazz. See, here it is. There's not going to be a Game 7. Tomorrow, TBD. They just haven't updated the site, or whatever sports data site they used to put this in didn't work. Grizzlies, Timberwolves tonight. Memphis leads the series 3-2. Remember, Memphis is the 7 or the 2 seed. Minnesota is the 7 seed. So this would be a big upset if Minnesota were able to win the next 2 games. But Memphis has a 3-2 lead. That game is today at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The NFL draft will resume tonight at 7 p.m. And let's talk about the draft. Game 7 for Memphis is on Sunday. And Game 1 for Bucks Celtics is also on Sunday. So it appears like we're at a situation where there might not be any Saturday basketball. NBA, what the fuck are you doing? What? Why? We're going to take Saturday off? Take a Tuesday off. Huh. All right, well, let's go to the NFL draft, which happened last night. And for the most part, it was pretty chalky. So the top 10 picks ended up being chalk, okay? Okay, you follow me? Top 10 picks ended up being chalk. Trayvon Walker had been rumoring for about a couple days that Jacksonville might not take Aiden Hutchinson. They might take Trayvon Walker because Aiden Hutchinson has arm length in the history of the NFL for his position will be in the 7th percentile. The 7th. Why am I fussy about this? Because the Detroit Lions, my team, took Aiden Hutchinson at 2. He's a second overall pick, and his ceiling is a pretty good player, which is great, but it's going to sell a lot of jerseys for the Ford family, and he's got a very specific, distinct feature that people in Michigan seem to value. How do I put this? They really like the Bosas. They like the Watts a lot. So they love Aiden Hutchinson. I don't know how to say it. Derek Stingley Jr., I told you yesterday that he was going to go high. His 2019 film is preposterous. He's the best player in the draft. 2019 Stingley, by far the best player in this draft. He had he opted out and he got hurt, and there's some weird stuff going on with him. No, he's the best player in the draft probably. Texans got him at 3. Let's go through this. Sauce Gardner. I saw a funny tweet from New York. If you know, you know. His name is Ahmad. He goes by Sauce, which is a sweet nickname. In New Jersey, it's called gravy. Get it? Because of red gravy and Italian food. It goes to the New York Jets. The Giants get Kayvon Thibodeau. His off-the-field stuff, his Bitcoin, all of his stuff. It's a great place. Being in New York City is a great place for him. Congratulations. Shouts to Ikem Ekwonu. His older brother, or actually his twin brother, was the more highly recruited prospect. He was a much better player, blah, blah, blah. Well, Ikem gets drafted. His older brother's a linebacker for Notre Dame, and he's adequate. He's fine. Ikem turned out to be the much better player at North Carolina State, and he gets to come home. I love it when when there are siblings or friends or whatever, and the one that people kind of doubted turns out to be better. Notre Dame probably should have had Ikem Ekwonu on their team. Not recruiting him was objectively stupid. Both the brothers got into like multiple Ivy League schools. So shouts to Ikem Ekwonu. Staying in Carolina. Carolina blows. They're just hardcore rebuild, and he was the easy, smart pick. Then Evan Neal goes 7th overall to the Giants. That's the offensive lineman. The Atlanta Falcons are in a 4-year rebuild also. They don't give a shit. They're just trying to get guys. They drafted a wide receiver, and that started the wide receiver run. Drake London from USC. He's probably the meanest wide receiver in this draft, second meanest wide receiver in this draft. Just a good overall prospect. Point of contact, point of the catch, just a good receiver. Seattle's in a multi-year rebuild. They take Charles Cross, who was by far the best pass protector in this draft, and they steal him from the Jets. The Jets were definitely going to take him to protect Zach Wilson. They probably missed out on that a little bit, dare I say. So Seattle takes an offensive lineman, then the Jets take Garrett Wilson, and then the shit happens. Okay, here we go. So now Drake London is off the board. Wide receiver 1, gone. Chris Olave is off the board to New Orleans at 11, gone. Garrett Wilson's off the board to the Jets at 10, gone. Then Detroit trades up to 12, from 32 to 12, to take wide receiver Jameson Williams, who was probably the best wide receiver in this draft, but he tore his ACL in the national championship game, causing Georgia to win. Georgia fans don't like to talk about that. He's the fastest player on GPS from multiple teams, according to people on the internet. He's an insane speedster. Detroit goes up to take him. So there are 6 guys that everyone agrees are really good wide receiver prospects in this draft. Drake London, Garrett Wilson, Chris Olave, Jameson Williams, Traylon Burks, and Jahan Dotson. 4 of them are gone. As Detroit trades up, Philly trades up to 13, I believe, from like 17. So Philly trades all the way up, and everyone's like, this is for Jameson Williams. Detroit's going to take Malik Willis. Then Detroit takes Jameson Williams, and Philly takes Jordan Davis, who the Philadelphia people wanted all the time. Jordan Davis is the enormous defensive tackle from Georgia, and probably, the pound for pound, the best player in this draft, and arguably the most athletic human pound for pound that has ever lived. He's an absolute nightmare. So after the Eagles get just straight stolen, they got their picks stolen. They take Jordan Davis, and they relax. And then Kyle Hamilton goes to the Ravens, which, of course, they get the good safety. That makes a ton of sense. It's a great landing spot for Kyle Hamilton. Now the receiver run is happening. So what does Philly do? They don't panic. Instead of drafting, they trade their pick to Tennessee in exchange for A.J. Brown. The Titans did not want to pay A.J. Brown an enormous contract, so they give him to Philly, and they take Traylon Burks, who is essentially a wide receiver. He's essentially A.J. Brown. He's the same thing. So Tennessee was coming up on a contract year. A.J. Brown, there had been rumors they don't want to pay him. Philly forked out $57 million guaranteed, a 4-year, $100 million extension, which is good. I mean, you got to do that kind of stuff for your wide receivers. While this is happening, other wide receiver news that broke. Marquise Hollywood Brown went from the Ravens to the Cardinals. The Cardinals traded the 23rd overall pick to the Ravens in exchange for Marquise Hollywood Brown, the wide receiver out of Oklahoma, and him and Lamar Jackson are finally starting to have a thing. Hollywood played with Kyler Murray at Oklahoma. So they're pumped that they're going to get Kyler his guy. They're going to get a wide receiver. They have a really epic wide receiver room now with Marquise Brown and DeAndre Hopkins. So now the trades are just flying. I mean, people are just trading up and trading back. It actually got kind of annoying there for a while because none of the stuff was cool. Another narrative that's going to come out of this, the Green Bay Packers, all of these receivers, like the receivers will be there in the mid to late rounds. The run happened faster than they thought it would. The Lions went up and got a guy. The Eagles traded for a guy on the open market. The Cardinals traded for a guy that we didn't know was on the open market. They're all gone because the Washington Commanders took Jahan Dotson with their picks somewhere, I want to say about 15-ish. Yeah, they took Jahan Dotson, then Treylon Burks goes to Tennessee. The Packers have no wide receivers to take. So what do they do for Aaron Rodgers? They traded Devontae Adams. They have 2 first-round picks. What do? They drafted a defensive tackle and a linebacker. Great. That's going to be a narrative today. Oh, man. So those are all your narratives to watch. Narratives to talk about today, if you don't know what to talk about, are going to be wide receivers, all the trades. If you want to say teams that won, the Jets, the Eagles, the Lions, all the teams that are aggressive and got players with big highlight reels will be the teams that everybody say won. I like what the Eagles did because instead of drafting a wide receiver, they just got one that they for sure know is good, and that's always a better move. He'll be a good fit with Jalen Hurts. What the Packers did objectively for the health of their team is a good move. It's going to piss off Aaron Rodgers, which is going to have been awesome. The Lions in their trade fleeced the Vikings. The Vikings have a rookie GM, and there are trade charts based on what's available, and the Lions they traded picks for picks, and everyone's like, wow, Vikings, what are you doing? What are you doing? So those are the narratives. Oh, yeah, there's one more narrative. It's hilarious. The Patriots took a kid named Cole Strange that everyone thought would be there at like 100. They always do this. They just take their guy. That's not going to work out as well when you don't have Tom Brady. I have this fun video for you, maybe, of the Rams live stream with Sean Payton reacting to the Patriots taking a guy they thought might be available later. Sean McVay very clearly has had a couple, which is awesome. Good for him. But this is what he said. This is so funny.
Really? Just went. Oh, my UT Chattanooga to the first round. Hey, where is...
How about that? And we wasted our time watching him thinking he'd be at 104 maybe.
That's funny. Talking a little shit on Bill Belichick, because Belichick just takes whoever he wants, whatever he wants, whenever they're there, which is dumb, because that's not, the theory of how this should work. Got some NFL draft props. MGM took all their stuff down, but FanDuel has some stuff. Who's going to be the 32nd, 33rd, 34th, 35th overall pick? The 33rd overall pick, Nakobe Dean, the linebacker from Georgia, is the favorite. And then Malik Willis, Trey McBride, David Ajabo, Logan Hall. If you're not a big draft nerd, you don't know what positions those guys play. Oh, yeah, another narrative. Forgot about this. There's so much. The draft was so bizarre. Kenny Pickett was the only quarterback taken. He goes to Pittsburgh, which makes a ton of sense. Obviously, they're going to sit him behind Mitch Trubisky and maybe make Mitch beat him out for a job. I don't know, but he was the quarterback for Pittsburgh is now the quarterback for Pittsburgh, which makes a ton of sense. Malik Willis, Matt Corral, Desmond Ridder, Sam Howell, all still on the board. No one knows when they're going to go. There are a couple wide receivers left. George Pickens, I think, is the guy, if you want to sound smart. He's a violent blocker. He was the best receiver in this draft class, but he was projected to be for years, and then he got hurt at the end of his second year at Georgia, and he only came back to play, I think, in the SEC Championship and in the National Championship. NFL draft position of Mr. Irrelevant. That's funny. That's a great draft. The team to draft Malik Willis is funny. I don't know who else is available. Tampa is the only team you can bet on, which is weird. So the draft prop stuff is essentially the fun is over. The draft will conclude sometime on Saturday. I don't know. The day 3, I just can't care about day 3. But day 2 is my favorite because those are the deeper tracks and the ones that can be kind of fun. We'll start getting into the NHL playoff preview. They start next week, I think, on Tuesday. Favorite to win. I like Toronto, but we'll start previewing the NHL playoffs. We'll also talk about some other interesting stories that have been happening around sports, but enormous night in the NBA. Only one series left. Game 6 of that series is tonight, with round 2 beginning on Sunday at, I think, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So we got plenty to talk about on interesting to see. The most interesting thing to see will be tonight and where the hell these quarterbacks go, man. Still a bunch of them out there. People trading. There's so many trades. Just say, there's so many trades last night. Say that. You'll sound smart. Back and better than ever. Monday morning.